Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video we're going to be talking about another fantastic champion that I personally do not enjoy playing with, at least not to an extent that most of you do. So again, before we get to the nitty-bitty grit of the video and before you whip out your keyboard and start reenacting Braveheart, basically the name of the series implies that I do believe these champions are great. The fact that the name of the series is Great Champions That I Hate to Play With basically means that A, it's my opinion, B, that I can admit easily that these champions are good and great and help everybody and are many fan favorites, so on and so forth. They're great. It's just they're not necessarily for me. Right, so keep that all in mind, and everything else that is being said following this is not meant to insult anyone in particular. However, I can already envision the sight of Armageddon or Ragnarok happening in my comment section, because today we are going to talk about one of the biggest fan favorites, and that is Domino. Right, now again, I do know she's great. I do know how much damage she can put out, what kind of insane bleed she can do, and everything that she does. However, I do have multiple problems with her, and with her it's a bit different from a majority of the champions that I have mentioned in this series. I do not find it particularly boring or dull or nothing like that whilst I'm using her. In fact, it is quite an interesting time, but I still hate to rely on this champion, and there is a reason why I haven't taken her up to rank 5. Despite of how big a fan favorite she is and how highly rated by many she is. And that reason is simple fact that A, she really wholeheartedly, desperately rely on her full synergy team in order to kind of like get the max benefit. And I know many people give, let's say, Ghost the same kind of slack, but no, Ghost doesn't necessarily need the full synergy team. She can perform much better on her own than, for instance, Domino can. Yes, the synergy team obviously helps, but for me personally, one of the things that makes a Ghost as valuable as she is, in my opinion, is the simple fact that if need be, I can just plug her on my team without any synergies whatsoever, go on and play. I use her in AQ, so on and so forth, without having a need for any synergies. Now, Domino does really need it, because a large part of Domino is that parry heavy playstyle where you drop the incinerates and well, first of foremost, Red Hell has to be present for that. And also, if you want to get your top damage output, obviously Massacre has to be there in order to extend the debuff duration. That includes the Incinerate. So it all kind of works hand in hand, and as soon as you remove one part of the synergy piece, she kind of loses quite a bit of her appeal. Right, so that is one bit, definitely a heavy reliance on the synergy team, and that quite often is kind of like excessive and inconvenient and unrealistic, especially in stuff like Act 6 or many different pieces of content, or even AQ and AW where you only have 3 slots, and if you choose to run Domino, you kind of pretty much have to dedicate your entire team to her. And that would be like your only actual tool. Okay, I'm not going to take anything away from Red Hulk and Massacre, because those champions are great by themselves and I don't want to dish on them either. But the fact of the matter is that those champions might not be the champions that are needed. They might not have the tool set or skill set that's needed for the buff. Okay, all of that being said, the real kind of like reason why I'm always have been somewhat hesitant in immediately getting invested in Domino is quite simply the huge differential of her damage, and that initially kind of gave me like a big shock wow moment. And I haven't really gotten over it, because sometimes when you drop her level 2, she does 60-70k damage, whatever, probably more. And sometimes she does like 5 or 10k damage, and you don't know when that's gonna happen. And that kind of same thing goes about all of her abilities. Like, she kind of reminds me to a degree of Scarlet Witch, where yes, she has a decent chance to trigger all of these abilities, nothing's guaranteed, you just kind of take it as they come. But in Domino's case, even her like stuns that are long and are completely random quite often happen to occur in the most inconvenient moments, like when you should be baiting out opponent's special attack because Bane timer is ticking away, or when you already have opponent at 2+ bars of power and you can't physically strike them anymore because otherwise they will get level 3, or because another thing is happening in the fight and you control none of it. Versus with Scarlet Witch pre 12.0, those random things that happened also included power lock and stun and power drain. So it meant as long as you kept going, you had like a window of opportunity, and even then, if your triggers failed, opponents were not at 3 bars of power for most part. With Domino, she doesn't have any of that bit, and that kind of like makes it a lot more situational. And the whole huge variance of her damage output, even on her like basic heavy attacks, because there's such a massive difference of the incinerate damage when you do crit and when you don't crit. And there's a massive difference on the level 2s or even level 1s or level 3s. Basically, you never know what's going to happen. Chances are she's going to do something great, but there's also a good chance that the bleed isn't even going to trigger in the first place, and you're just going to be like, well, that sucks. Quite often also, Domino just doesn't have the full control of the matchup, and she's quite reliant on being able to have that big damage push in order to kind of like out-damage some of the nastiest situations. And all of that kind of like being combined with the fact that her synergy partners pretty much require the same fighting conditions, like, because you have Massacre, who also does incinerate and bleed, just like she does. You have Red Hulk. Okay, Red Hulk doesn't require any damage, debuffs or time, but still, you have these champions that kind of specify in similar areas. All 3 of them do a lot of damage, and two of them access bleed and access incinerate, and so the whole team is relatively one-dimensional with a great amount of damage. Only one of them is poison and incinerate immune, 2 of them are not immune to anything, and it's just kind of awkward to fit them in your daily routine or daily schedule. Now again, I know that everybody's slating me for whatever I say, no matter how many disclaimers I put in there, and I do like Domino to a degree. I just cannot possibly take her nowhere close to as serious as champions like Omega Red or Ghost or Quake when it comes to actually dealing with problems. To me, she's much more of a spectacle of something that can put some insane numbers or provide you with a nice entertainment when she goes on a stun loop or something like that. And yes, the damage averages out really great. Obviously, she has had some insane kills. Also, she has useful ability accuracy reduction things, but again, those things are not reliable enough for you to kind of use it as an ability accuracy reduction champ, because at most she can decrease opponent's ability accuracy by 50 or 80% if you max out Pacify. That still doesn't kind of like fully cover you. So there are quite a lot of tricks and kinks to running Domino, and she does many things relatively well, but none of them insanely excellent outside from damage, and that is also often put on a question mark because it might just not happen. And those are pretty much the reasons why I have not taken up my Domino myself rank 5. Now, I might do it in future as an extra, but here's the thing, I already had that choice to make, because I did have a rank 4 to 5 mutant rank up gem. And when I was considering who am I going to take up, because I had choice basically in between Colossus, Unduped, Sunspot, Havoc, Domino, and Archangel, I went with Havoc. And then later on, I ended up ranking 5 Archangel as well. So I have done multiple rank ups since I have had Domino at rank 4 and since I could have made that choice. So I haven't pulled myself like kind of to actually go in there to take her fully to rank 5 and kind of delve into it, because when I was considering what I need these champions for, I didn't even have a clear target for Domino. Like when I'm thinking, where am I going to use Domino? Am I going to use her in a W attack? No. Am I going to use her in a Q attack? No. Did I need her for anything in 6.2 or 6.3? No. And is she great for Abyss of Legends? No. Or at least not that I haven't seen her to be particularly great. So I'm definitely having a lot more reservations than most people are, and whilst I do agree that she is a good champion, I definitely disagree that she is all that. She has her upsides, but she has quite many downsides. Synergy reliant, unstable, relatively bipolar, requires access to damage over time debuffs, doesn't have any kind of clear set or direction where she goes into aside from damage, because there's no immunities, no abilities to bypass evade or auto block or miss mechanic. Her ability accuracy reduction can be handy, but is not strong enough to be reliable. There are many of these things that kind of like seed in a lot of doubts in me for Domino, so that is pretty much the reason why I think that Domino is like that bipolar exciting girl next door, which could be fun to play with, but you will never want to marry her. So I obviously have dedicated myself to Quick. All of that being said, I hope you guys have enjoyed today's video, and if you did, do not forget to hit that like button, hit that sub button. Do let me know exactly how much I suck for disliking Domino, and what else you want to do to me. I swear one of these days somebody's gonna threaten to burn down my house. But either way, that was my honest opinion. I don't necessarily hate Domino, I just don't get all the fun. We have plenty of champions that do insane amount of damage and more, so I don't know. So yeah, now that you have watched this video fully, you are free to go to comment section. Do not forget to add in hashtag keyboard warrior if you have made it to this point, and then you can tell me how much I suck, because every comment without hashtag keyboard warrior I will simply ignore. That's fair enough. If you want to insult me, you have to watch the video till the end. Haha. Either way, that will do for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Yeah, if you did, hit that like button, sub button, all the buttons, and I'm gonna catch you guys soon. See ya.